This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day. Carefully crafted for you by humans, so meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Fully Managed podcast. Thank you, Travis, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here.
Yay! That is what I like to hear. So today we're going to, as usual, start with a game. This game keeps you in mind. I personalize it for every guest, as the viewers know, but you do not, maybe. So
I don't. I feel like this is gonna be a fun one. I'm ready for you, but I'm a little nervous.
Don't be nervous at all. It's going to be fun. Yeah. And sometimes I do quiz people, but that's really only people that are from Philly, because I'm like, you should know about your city.
Don't hit me with that.
Don't worry. Okay, so this game is called AI Advantage or AI Hype. So it's opinion based. So you can't really be wrong unless the viewers think you're objectively very wrong, and then they can fight you in the comments, and that's fine.
All right.
But okay, starting off, but basically how this works, I think it's self-explanatory, but how this works is you're going to tell me whether you think this is an AI, I'm going to give you a scenario. You're going to tell me whether you think this is an AI advantage or AI. I think there's a lot of opinions on what AI should be used for and what it shouldn't be used for at this point in time. And a lot of people have different opinions on that. So I think it's a good conversation starter to see where you're at.
Okay.
Ready?
All right. I'm obviously going to be biased.
I mean, yes.
But I'm gonna throw my opinion in there.
That's the point. We're trying to see where you lie. And, Okay, so the first point is AI generated marketing copy.
I think it's an advantage. Do I get to expand on that, or do I just leave it at that?
Explain.
I think it's an advantage because the marketing space, much like some of the areas in healthcare and wellness, which is where our sector is at, our niche is at, it provides a tremendous amount of think before you hit the go button on your AI capabilities. You can draft stuff, create it, and then see where it takes you from there as far as a good prompt is concerned. Mm-hmm. But I think it could also just stir up all sorts of fantastic creative insights and brainstorming that you might not otherwise get. So I think it can also be one of those sort of marketing teams in a box, if you will, that can stir up a whole lot of new formulations of things that you've never considered. So I think it's an advantage.
I think that's completely fair. And I think that you're also considering that like there's some form of editing involved in that. Like it's a start to like help you kind of jump off. I think that's something that's important to be mentioned too, because it is much different than just allowing it to do the whole as well.
Yeah, I would agree, Shannon. I don't know that I've ever seen AI, even the most sophisticated platforms, generate start to finish. If nothing else, it's a little bit off brand, or it doesn't create the consistency across video imagery, or the tone is a little bit off in places, or if it's a voiceover, maybe the accent changes halfway through a little bit. There's always that kind of stuff that if you allow AI to be the pure creator and deployer, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So I don't think there's a cutting out of the human side of it by any means. I feel like it is a generator of thought content, but I think that as someone who creates the content, you should also own the content at the end. And if you don't, I think you're putting yourselves in a bad spot.
I completely agree. I think it's really funny, the different opinions on like how people, I guess, identify when something is AI generated or AI is utilized to create that content. It's even funny when it's not identified whether like a voice sounds creepy in an ad. Maybe you should not use this AI generated voice because it's not, I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me.
That's true. It's true.
There's little things like that too that people don't consider, like how this will resonate. Mm-hmm. But let me move on to the next one. Okay, so fully automated sales outreach.
Ooh, so I'm gonna say that's an advantage. And I think it's an advantage in very specific pathways. Sales is a very broad space, obviously. If you think of the old, cold email, cold voice calls, those kinds of things, I think if I split those two, which kind of just starting on the cold side, I would say the email side is much more aligned to the AI advantage. You can produce content that genuinely sounds human, that takes advantage of very specific elements of your customer or your ICP's space, and you can get really darn close to a fantastic sequence of campaigns that can go out that is an advantage for sure. The voice side, I think, is picking up. There's a lot of voice agents that are out there that can do very similar types of things that I believe can be a fascinating space as far as closing, or at least maybe generating those leads, maybe top to middle funnel kind of space. One quick example of that, Kickstand AI, we use voice agents and cold email both. And our voice agents are typically on the inbound side of things. So we don't use them to call folks. What we do is that on our website or on specific campaigns that might go out for Instagram, whatever social platform, that content might shoot them to a voice agent that they can call and get a slew of information from that voice agent about the organization, about the products, about the solutions that we can offer without having to spend the time or without maybe the obligation of talking to a human, if I can say it that way. Yeah. Whenever you get done, you get to just hang up if you'd like. And of course, you could ask whatever questions you have without feeling like there's any sort of sense of either sometimes I might say embarrassment or just kind of like fact finding if you just wanted to call. So I think in the inbound side of stuff, I think it's a powerful sales element. I still think that the outbound calling is a bit frustrating for many individuals who are receiving those phone calls. Obviously, there's no call lists and those kinds of things, but also when you just get on the phone line, you could tell pretty quickly, I think, whether it is or not. And if you didn't initiate it, it can feel like like someone's just kind of bumping into your life that you don't want them to be in. So maybe if it's intentional from your side, it's okay. But I think sales funnel in total, I think automations and AI go hand in hand in that space. But I also feel like there are very few things that an AI capability would say, I can close the deal on this. Very defined products, maybe. But in Kickstand AI space, because things are very much tailored, you can get only so far before you have to have a human step in and do things like AI audits and that kind of stuff to really see what the customer might need to be able to solve their problems. Really, AI does a tremendous job of filling that AI funnel up quite a bit.
And I think that there's a great point to be made there as well. That you're saying that outbound calls may be a little more like there might be a little more rub there. But I think that if you really consider it, outbound calls for a human also have a little more rub as well. So I think that things that like adding AI to them that are already a bit touchy when humans are involved in them, like, of course, it's going to be not as successful or not as easy to break into that space where AI is concerned. Whereas, like, when you're on the receiving end of calls, of course, when you're being helpful, people are going to take that more lightly when they're like, if the AI is efficient in doing that, I don't think people would really mind whether it's a person or AI because they're being helped.
It's I could agree with that in pieces for sure. It's sort of, if I know that it's abrasive for someone to outreach to me without me voluntarily soliciting that material, an AI conversation might be easier to get out of because I could just hang up without feeling bad. So at some level, maybe there's that
That's
feeling.
True too, yeah.
If the abrasion is the same level, then listen, I'm tired of talking and I'm out. So I can certainly see that the fact that it has a certain amount of abrasion already a part of the process, whether it's human or AI, I think that's a very true point. It's just a matter of whether or not, as a person, you're willing to sit and listen to this agent chat with you, or if you'd rather have a Shannon call you and just chat with her. I bet you're far nicer than an AI agent. I'm guessing,
Yeah, I'm sure that things will change in the future and they'll get so much closer to humans that it'll be almost scary. But
absolutely possible. It's moving that way very quickly. That's for sure.
For sure. Okay. We're already doing great with the game, but I know we're basically getting into a really good conversation based on the game. So I'm going to give you one more and then we'll go into like the nitty gritty of everything as well. So,
Okay.
Last one is, Okay. I think this is a good one. Okay. AI for internal decision making versus customer facing needs.
Ooh, I guess I'm gonna go with a little bit of hype on that. And now this is gonna be a tough one for sure. Internal decision making is, I think, fed quite well by AI platforms. Large language models, small language models, if you curated something, are fantastic at producing the kind of content that would be helpful for you to help make decisions, plain and simple. As long as you're, of course, vetting the quality of the answers. If it's a small language model and you built it on your own, terrific. It's probably far more accurate and you can rely on those kinds of platforms to give you good information. And I think that as a decision point, I think it absolutely supports the decisions that you would have. I think it necessitates quality data, but it also stitches things together that as humans, we just don't have the capabilities to do. Seeing similarities and threads and consistencies across millions of data points is not something as a human you're really good at doing. But having provided that content in a way that's digestible, you can make decisions on that takes into account your gut feel, the conversation you just had in the hallway, the ad you saw driving into work that morning, and you can put all these things together and have a very different kind of thing that your model just doesn't contemplate. So I think that there's a little bit of hype and decision making at the end state, but it definitely it supports the process for sure. On the consumer side, I don't know, Shannon, maybe you can clarify it for me. Is the consumer side, is it a question of, does AI support decision making as it relates to a solution for a customer?
Yes, that's what I meant.
I think I'm gonna have to go hype on that one as well. I don't tend to want to allow that to happen. I feel like it's informational, and I feel like at some point you have to step in and say, does this person, does this organization, does this product fulfill what they're getting after? And there's vetting of all of that content that comes into it. And sometimes, again, I'll sort of go back to the pieces that AI doesn't do well, which is really an intention or intuition, There's a gut feel of a marketing thing. You've been informed by all these data points. Now, where are you going with it? Should you use teal or should you use a light blue? Who knows, right? Some hex color is going to sit out there and tell you one thing. And maybe that's where the AI can really come in. But you also know that owner just hates blue. And so you're like, let's just go with it. I don't know. They're wearing teal today and it's their favorite color. Why the hell not? Well, use teal. So there's this feeling of, just life playing into it. And I do feel like the gut reaction of the space is particularly important. Being informed gets you a long way, but I still like the humanness of it. So I'm going to go hype on both of those, I think.
Yeah, I can completely understand where you're coming from. And I mean, I like that you kind of talked about both sides of it too, because AI can help you make an informed decision if you don't have all the facts about maybe an industry or something like that. But if you have the experience with this client or whatever it may be, it's likely that it's not going to create as good of an outcome if you're inputting all of that information to AI, because you're probably forgetting things. I mean, there's only so much that you can reiterate sometimes. It's like a game of telephone almost.
Yeah. Do you when you sit down and have this game and these three questions with others, Shannon, do you feel like that there's a differing opinion that's driving this, or do you feel like most are in line with that statement of AI gets you so far and humans kind of finish things off? Is that consistent, or do you feel differently?
Well, it should be known that these games are different for every single guest. So this is a completely different question. However, I have spoken to a lot of people about this specific topic, and I would say that is a general consensus. There are a lot of people that I wouldn't say over rely on AI, but use AI heavily in a lot of their workload that I've spoken to, and even they have these checks and balances in place. And I think that's uniform, and I hope that that's a forever thing, even as AI advances, because I think that what people miss a lot of the time is that like humans are still creating these tools. I mean, they're just creating the automation, like they're creating, like there's still people creating what these things are, and then they're automating themselves, or they're now being able to manage themselves, but they're still created by humans who make mistakes.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. All right, I'm ready to rock and roll. That was a fun game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's exactly, and it's supposed to show me a little bit more about where you stand, of like what your beliefs are. So I'm excited to get into it now, knowing all these things. So what I want to start off with, because we kind of talked about this before our call, is that you went from, and like this, all of this podcast is about career journeys, like learning and growing and like understanding and learning from other people's experiences. So I really want to get into your career journey is very unique in the idea that you have worked for a corporation for a very long time, a very notable corporation, which I'm sure you could shed light on. But and now you have started your own company. That is like unbelievable, and something that is really scary for a lot of people. So I'd love to know more about that journey, about like how you made that decision, and like, I don't know, some what you've learned from this experience, like some key takeaways that you think would be helpful, because I think a lot of people think about making this kind of decision, and a lot of people just do it.
Yeah, you know, the decision to take the leap, probably a whole series of podcasts for sure. And I think you could probably go a lot of different ways, Shannon. What I would say is, after 2 decades of being in academic medical centers and health insurers, there is a very clear chasm that I've noticed, and I think many others have as well, within the healthcare AI space. So outside of just pure healthcare, kind of setting that aside and all of the difficulties and struggles associated with the industry as a whole, what I would say is that as you introduce AI into that over the last several years, there's been a chasm that's really opened up between small businesses that are attempting to integrate AI and large corporations that can throw millions and millions of dollars at it. When that happens, you get very much so an opening up of a space that Kickstand AI directly fills. And that's the space of helping to make sure that the small businesses that are in the healthcare and wellness space have the ability to tap into tools like AI in all sorts of different kinds of solutions associated with that, and make sure that they're keeping pace for sake of their own patients or their customers and their clients. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have a country or an industry that prides itself on individuals starting small businesses, and yet seeing those small businesses get farther and farther behind the blue chips of the world, right? Those large organizations, the Fords and the Coca-Colas and the United Healthcares, right? These large corporations that are out there. So for us, when we started Kickstand AI, it was really about taking our passion, our expertise in the data analytics and the technology spaces, the love for health and wellness and helping individuals live healthier lives, and being able to infuse that into organizations that are doing the same thing, same mission, but are sitting here saying, how in the world do I find $5 million to integrate AI across my platform? Mm-hmm. How do I find $100,000 to integrate a voice agent? Those things aren't something that have to be complicated or contemplated now because of the tools that are out there, the ability for us to integrate things smoothly and very rapidly. They don't have to wait around for 2 years for software development. They don't have to throw 6 figures at it. So the ability for us to step in and help organizations keep up and excel and do all of those things against the larger organizations for sake of their clients and their patients is what Kickstand AI is all about.
Is an incredible mission, and I can 100% resonate with that. I think that something that I see about AI that I think is so incredible is this ability to almost level the playing field in certain ways, especially where business is concerned. I feel like there are people that are able to start businesses now that didn't have some tools to do so earlier on because they were either too expensive or whatever it may be. And although, to your point, I think corporations will unfortunately maybe always have a leg up because they have so much money to do research and hire people to do specific, very niche things in making sure that they are where they are and continue to stay there. It is so wonderful that we still have access to this technology to at least make sure that it is not a complete monopoly of all of these different industries. What was maybe the hardest part of like developing the right AI tools because I think that there's a lot of chit chat in the AI conversations that I've had thus far, that a lot of people are unsure or like chasing this like shiny object of like getting excited about new things that can help them, but they like spend too much time learning them and then they realize they're not as helpful as they thought they were, or like, you know, like what kind of time have you spent on, and I'm sure it's also related to your career experience as well, like that you decided what would be helpful? Yeah,
the tenure of my time in corporations, I think is important here. So in having spent so much time in large organizations, they buy the work, buy the organizations, or build it themselves. And most of what I have found having stepped out of that is that there are an enormous amount of tools that are available that are not even discussed in large corporations. Smaller organizations have stood up fantastic tools, and they have the ability to create and to launch things forward that in a large corporation they don't think about. Or I might even say it in a different way, they don't allow you to make use of. That might be one thing. So you think of something that is quite a basic process. Like you might go out to make.com and want to create an automation, or Zapier, or an NAN platform, whatever that might be. And you think about what it is that you would like to create. And there then are all these integrations across all sorts of different types of software packages, whether it be in the CRM space and you're talking about HubSpot, or if you're in name that industry, right? So leaving it there and then thinking about what it looks like in the corporation. What the corporation has is very steadfast agreements with very specific vendors, and you have to use those tools to sometimes the detriment of that organization because you don't have the capability of going out and finding the best there is to do this specific thing. So that for me, when I stepped out, I started to realize, my goodness, the ecosystem of AI software companies is enormous, and it feels like it is, pardon the phrase, but a bit of dime a dozen kind of a situation where there's just so many out there that have been stood up, but it gives you the privilege of being able to vet them as you would like. And so there is a lot of time to be spent at the very beginning when you ask, how do you vet through your shiny object syndrome situation? It catches everybody at some level. And when the models change every single couple weeks, it's slowing down a little bit now, I feel, from the major players, the Anthropics and the OpenAIs, that the models aren't evolving quite as quickly, but there's some more value in it. So when you see that start to slow down, what you ultimately find yourself doing is landing on one and then just hoping you make the right decision, that's the one that you feel satisfies the most amount of space in your organization, while also they are the ones that are also continuing to look forward and develop their own platforms. So as long as you're willing to go down that space, wonderful. So if you look at, in HeyGen, for example, HeyGen is a wonderful platform for developing human avatars and doing all sorts of voiceovers using things like 11 Labs to create either social media shorts, maybe, or marketing campaigns of other sorts, maybe infomercials, maybe commercials, who knows? But there's an ability to have them as coaches. So when you think of an organization that's like that, what comes to mind for me is, One, is the platform established enough with either their own technology or partners to fulfill my obligation going forward, meaning they're not going to fall out of favor anytime soon. Two, do they have a suite that I can tap into right now that's beyond what I really need? So if I'm using 100% of their capability, that's a problem. I have to be able to grow into them just as they continue to grow. And last, do they continue to grow? So if I am already serving 100% problem, if they're not evolving their suite of solutions, and I'm continuing to get more and more involved with them, and they're not expanding their own ecosystem, you gotta wonder whether or not that's going to be the company that's going to help you continue to grow in the future as well. So there is a little bit of a stepwise progress of how do I make sure that whoever I ultimately partner with is the one that's going to be there, but you have to do that at one point. You can't continue to vet over and over again. You can't continue to think that the newest thing is the best and the brightest. The grass, old colloquialism there, the grass is always greener is not always the case. It looks pretty. It can be okay on the beginning, but then if it doesn't meet all those other standards, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And then I'll say, just on a founder CEO kind of a level, as a small business owner myself, you end up in a position where you don't have time to continue to learn and relearn. You sort of, you find what works really well for you, for your organization, that again, already has solutions beyond you and continues to grow itself. And then you learn that and you become an expert at that capability. And because things are slowing down a tad bit, you do find that you're not constantly being bombarded with somebody else who comes to you and says, well, I won't work with you unless you're using X, because that's not a common thing anymore. Everybody might come to you and say, hey, are you using, Nana Banana as an example? Like, is that the newest and the brightest and the best? And I just heard this and it's all over the Instagram. And if you're not using it, I'm not going to be partnering with you. That definitely is not. You want to work with that
person anyway.
Yeah. There's stability in choosing the right kind of structures for your organization, and you just have to vet it, and work through that as a owner.
Yeah, there's something about like identifying a problem or like an inefficiency rather than just being, blinded by pure excitement about something that is new. And I think that, in a perfect world, you could identify a tool for every possible thing that is even minorly inefficient. But it's also like, if something's working and it's not taking up or consuming like a credible amount of your time by doing it that way, then do you really need a tool for it? It's kind of like, there's very much a very much a good point to be said about things that are inefficient and then things that are solving a problem. But I think that when something is not doing that, maybe there's no reason for exploration in that way for it to be automated or, be improved by AI.
Yeah. AI confuses the capabilities a lot. It does feel like sometimes AI can do everything. And I really feel like, Shannon, you hit the nail on the head with respect to what's the solution you're really aiming for, because you can grab so many tools that are out there that you frankly end up with just a garage full of really shiny things that never really do anything, and they don't get used, and they're just a waste of money and effort. I think your focus and your point on, let's make sure that whatever it is that you're putting into your stack makes sense for the solutions that you're trying to solve. It's a great point.
Exactly. Well, thank you. And I was just building on your point, so don't give me all the credit. Talking like on top of this conversation that we're already having, like, what do you feel in your space specifically is like a common misconception that people have about AI?
Well, there are 3 buckets of clients that we typically see, and I'll sort of define the buckets and then I'll answer the question. Generally, what we find is that there are individuals who want to use AI who are afraid of it, feel like they want to use it, but haven't really gone that road. That bucket is shrinking almost every day. It's getting quite small. Then there's a largest middle bucket, which is I've tried it and I didn't get what I wanted to get out of it, and so I'm kind of done with it. And then there's the last bucket, which is I've tried it, I threw X dollars at it for an ROI that was a tenth of what I threw at it, and now I'm just really upset that I have to keep throwing money at it. And the largest misconception about AI is that there really is an easy button. It's like the the old what was the commercial that was that was easy? You might
Staples.
Staples, yeah. Yeah, the little like easy button. And there is a feeling about that. Thank you for calling that commercial out. I did not remember that.
I remember it a lot. We had one in my house, so that's why I remember it so well.
That's fair. And that's what it feels like, Shannon. It's sort of this moment of, if we just had AI to do this, our world would be that much easier. And then you put that statement over those three buckets, and you realize that there are some organizations that are really still hesitant about what it can offer, whether it be because they think it's wrong, they feel like it might violate their privacy, they feel like they don't want decisions to be pushed toward an agent, somebody that's not a human. The middle bucket is going to say things like, listen, I would love to be able to say that I could just integrate AI into this thing, but the fact that I didn't get what I wanted out of it is a problem. I thought it was going to be a simple button. I thought I was going to be able to just say, hey, let me just hire an AI team to come in and just make my whole thing operate autonomously. That just it rarely happens that's the case. And then the largest ones are the last bucket, the ones that have thrown, $500,000 and got $17,000 in ROI back from it. That's the one that's going to be the loudest on the myth of it's simple, because they're the ones that not only felt it with their time, with the disruption of their organizational workflows, but also their pocketbooks. And their CFO is going to sit back and say, are you kidding me? Like this was such a colossal loss of money that I don't know what to do with this anymore. So they're going to be the loudest group that's going to say the myth of AI, that it can solve most things in your organization and do it, pennies on the dollar, do it very quickly, be stable for the length of time, never need to be adjusted or refined, and always produce the result you want the customer to experience as an owner. You're kidding yourself. You're absolutely kidding yourself. It just doesn't happen. And knowing that I'm sitting here on this side as the owner of Kickstand AI, who is saying, listen, clients, don't have this expectation. There's a reality in this, because we've all had that same conversation with individuals who have said, well, can't you just fill in the blank? And whatever they put in that blank is usually a part of a pain, but a whole lot of an assumption. And that's the struggle of how do you tease out what was an assumption, what actually is the pain, so you can build your solution to target the pain and not their assumptions. And if you can do that, you're in a good spot.
I completely understand what you're saying, especially since to draw a parallel to marketing, it is something that happens often where the world is kind of expected of you, and then you kind of have to bring people down to earth of these are the realistic expectations of what we're doing. It's not miracle work. It's something that has, realistic expectations, and something that sometimes you can't always predict. As much research as you do, things still go wrong sometimes. And that's the nature of all work. If anything, I think it's just when something is, especially when something is associated with maybe something that people don't understand, I think sometimes they tend to expect more of it, which is odd. Because you would think that if you have a lack of understanding about it, then you're kind of going to keep your expectations low. But I think with AI, I think it's one of the first things where people's perception of it is that it's this amazing thing that like flying cars, but it's still a work in progress, just like every new thing is.
This is that I don't know that you could have said it any better than that, because there is a feeling that if AI was something that we could harness and that we could just make work well, everything would be solved. But the reality for us and for most organizations is that AI it's easy to blame, and at times it's seen as the problem when it might just be a problem. AI, when you infuse it into your organization, can do a lot of things, and it can solve many problems. It can also create many problems. And I would suppose maybe the I wouldn't say a myth, but a result of having integrated them enough times, you start to realize that when individuals don't experience what they expect, it's always the AI's fault. Sort of like, I'm going to just blame whatever the AI is. And it's it's two letters that are just, I don't know what kind of infamous definition AI will be in the future, but I feel like at some point it's going to be a negative thing. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but it feels like when you think about cars driving autonomously, we as humans give a lot of leeway to other humans who empirically crash far more than autonomous vehicles do all the time. The data proves it out over and over again that they're safer vehicles, but we as humans, if it's not perfect, it's not reliable. And if it's a machine of some sort, whether it be AI or some other autonomous thing, it ultimately ends up in the place of I can't trust it if it fails at least once, right? I don't know how many times I have failed as a driver. I would imagine the police would say many times, right? So there's this feeling of like, how much flexibility do we give to the system? And I think that if you opened up Excel and you added 2 + 2 and it said 7 enough times, you would probably be like, this is a problem. But there's a feeling around the perfection of what AI is supposed to be. And I think you said it really well at the beginning. It's a human endeavor, a human invention, and a human sustained thing. And if we forget the fact that humans are the ones who are creating this, we're going to have our own issues. I say all that until you start talking about things like agentic AI, which has reasoning, capabilities and that kind of stuff. But
technically it's still trained by humans. I mean, like, even though it is like, it's training itself as well. I mean,
there. Yeah. The framework, the model, it starts from someplace. But you're absolutely right. I think we have to have the clarity around this point that, I'm going to get into some sort of philosophical conversation.
I love that. That's when I know the podcast was a success, when we get into philosophy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess for sure. But I would say that within our organization, because our organization is intentfully building out solutions that have clear and definable starting and ending points, our space is not, right now anyway, agentic AI. We do not right now put agents into organizations with the clear and explicit position for it to think on its own to do whatever it might be. There's plenty of agentic AI capabilities that are out there. And to those that are doing it, there are a tremendous amount of security precautions and compliance and regulations around it to make sure that there's traceability around its decision-making. It has to be audited all the time. And those are the kinds of things that large organizations have to be mindful of. And they are going to lead the way, in my opinion, in that space. It's not the small organization that's going to be able to stand that kind of complex and robust bedrock of expertise on top of. As soon as that does happen, then you can take advantage of it. I think what you're getting is, because it's moved from AI to generative AI to agentic AI, that people like to use that phrase. But I don't believe that agentic AI has taken hold yet. 2026 might be the year for it to really start to become something that organizations can take advantage of, but it's after years and years of perfecting the process of maybe I'll say process and guardrails around an agentic AI model and what it could actually do. But we still operate in the space of generative AI, creating automations between endpoint to endpoint, making sure that content is created as it should and accurately and consistently so, and that you can replicate that over and over again. And if you can do that, then you could create the confidence in us humans that it's working as it should. When I hit send on my email, most of the time it goes where I say it's supposed to go, right? And it's only when I want to pretend like I didn't send an email, or I forgot to send it and I hit send, the computers, they mess up. They don't really mess up a lot, right? But there's this feeling of perfection when it comes to the next level of stuff. So we manage that with our clients, and we're consistently talking to them about what they should expect. And I think that's going to be especially important in the agentic AI space.
I completely agree, and thank you for like providing such a comprehensive, such comprehensive clarity on this subject, because I think that it is a really big problem I see in the AI space where like people do have unrealistic expectations, and it causes a lot of issues in so many different ways, like whether it's simply just interacting with ChatGPT, or there's so many stories that I hear of like negative outcomes of people putting too much faith in something that is relatively new. And that doesn't mean that it is not wonderful. Like, that does not mean that it is not like an incredible thing. It's just something that people need to do more research on and have realistic expectations on what is expected of it as of now. And like, of course, those things advance, and things get better, and things get more efficient, and I guess more human, or less human maybe, because humans make mistakes too. But I think it's a really important point to be said. And thank you so much for this discussion, because this was absolutely fabulous. I love getting into this, and I love getting into philosophy, because this was fun.
Yeah, it can get deep, that's for sure. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Shannon.
Of course, Travis. And thank you so much for participating in this. It was an absolute pleasure.
All right. I agree.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening. We'd be nothing without you. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you can check out other episodes. And Travis in the description. Thank you guys so much.
Fantastic.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest, and to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend, and of course, subscribe.